Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome back to First Cut. This is our spoiler review of Spider-Man Brand New Day. So if you're watching this, that means you have seen the movie. We are here to break it down. I'm here with RB3. RB3, I'm excited to talk about this movie with you, man. But first things first, give me your general thoughts on this movie, man.
General thoughts, I really enjoyed it. It was a good Marvel movie, one of the better Marvel movies that we had recently. It wasn't as good as maybe like Thunderbolts, which I really loved, or it wasn't as good as some of the other ones that I like really love. But it was a very high quality movie, one of the better Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, and a real emotional ride. Saw it twice, so had to make sure I saw I ended up enjoying it more the second time I watched it than the first time, but both good watches the second time, definitely more enjoyable for sure.
Yeah, I feel like I'm excited to see it again as well. I feel the same way. I think it's really solid, really good. I do feel like you're right. I think there's some other recent Marvel movies that might be a little bit better. I think Thunderbolts is a good example of something that works a little better, in my opinion. But still a really, really good time. I know a lot of people are really excited to have Spider-Man back, specifically this Spider-Man, Tom Holland Spider-Man, that is so beloved. He's such a beloved version of this character. How do you feel like this measures up to the other three films, the home trilogy that we had before?
Well, it's better in some ways. For sure on the cinematography level is a lot better. On a maybe some of the effects were better in this movie for sure compared to the other ones. So it was good in terms of doing the filmmaking aspects right. Of course, that Destin Daniel Cretton is a great director, great actors, director. So getting good performances out of Tom Holland and Zendaya. I think if I this is definitely better than Far From Home for sure. That second one was just like absolute dog wash. I can't watch that movie. And then the first one I have a soft spot in my heart for because like I just relate to that movie a lot. Just as a high schooler who went to I went to a math and science high school, so I relate to that movie just like on a lot of levels. And then No Way Home I like a lot because obviously like that's just dramatic and heavy, and we see Peter Parker really like grow up in that film as well. And we see Peter Parker grow up a lot in this movie too. So yeah, it's definitely, top three, definitely better than Far From Home. I don't know where it stands next to the other two, but it's also kind of its own thing as well. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, as far as Spider-Man itself, so we're big Spider-Man fans, just Spider-Man in general, obviously, right? Since the Tobey Maguire movies, you've been watching it. I've been watching him since the animated series. So we're big Spider-Man guys. We know this character very well. As a Spider-Man movie, which is something that a lot of people have been talking about, how do you feel like this measures up? Because we've seen the home trilogy kind of be criticized a little bit as less of a Spider-Man movie and more of a like team up slash Spider Boy slash Spider Stark kind of thing. So how do you feel like this measures up as a individual Spider-Man movie?
Yeah, I thought it was great. I mean, well, it's a great Spider-Man film for sure in terms of like the mechanics of it. Of course, I'm a big fan of the PlayStation 5 Spider-Man game. And you can definitely tell, I know they talked about interviews that were inspired a lot by that game. You can definitely tell the influence through the swinging was heavy. I mean, honestly, I think the trailers, even though they didn't spoil her role, they definitely showed way too much all throughout this marketing process. The whole last fight scene in the prison, ninjas, that's like their big anchor fight scene. The Jean Grey stuff was cool and they handled it well, but I also feel like it would have been cool to like not have any inkling of that going into it. I think that it would have made the reveal a lot harder. Honestly, the same way that the reveal in Spider-Man Homecoming was when Adrian Tim was revealed to be the father of the love interest. Like that was a twist that hit like hard. And yeah, this one didn't have the same effect, but it was still cool though.
Yeah, I feel like I would agree. That is my biggest gripe with the Jean Grey aspect in this film is that I really, really wish that this was an actual, really well kept secret and not something that's like a basically an open secret. Like you said, first off, with the marketing itself, with the trailers, with the marketing, as I said before, in general, posters, interviews, all that kind of stuff. But second of all, with just the media discourse in general, I just really don't, and I know this is the world we're living in, RB3. This isn't new. This has been going on since 2010, maybe. The idea of like revealing who's in the movie before you even know who's in the movie. And that's fine, but it also feels like a little bit disappointing, specifically with this movie, when they want you to feel like it's some sort of big reveal when he says her name is Jean Grey. and you're supposed to feel something, but everyone already knew. It is a little bit disappointing because it would be a really cool feeling to see that as a comic fan, right? Because pretty much everybody knows who Jean Grey is if you read any kind of Marvel comics or know anything about Marvel. So it would have been a really cool reveal, but the fact that everyone knew already is a little bit disappointing. And I think it would have been a really really cool way to reveal the character in this movie. But as an introduction to Jean Grey and the X Men itself, how'd you feel about that? About her being the first X Men we ever see in the MCU, the first official one, I guess, and this being her introduction.
Yeah, I mean, they show that X-Men. I think it's cool to show that X-Men is complicated figures who, on the run. And there's already kind of this organization. I mean, yeah, I mean, she is kind of the first, but also to the whole themes of the Department of Damage Control and the chasing of mutants and the criminalization of mutants. It's something we already kind of saw, particularly in Miss Marvel, right? Like Miss Marvel was like pretty much almost the same kind of story beat for beat, except Miss Marvel is a good-hearted little Indian girl, or I think Pakistani Indian, one of them, and she is
Pakistani.
like Pakistani, and she's like wholehearted and nice and sweet. Yeah, this young woman, Jean Grey, has obviously been through a lot of trauma, seeing her sister get kidnapped, and eventually learning, she was murdered. Is like kind of, it's a lot. That's a heavy trauma backstory to give an X-Men character right off the back, especially someone so young. But it's good to give that backstory here, and now we can move forward and like explore her character as like, I guess, the more traditional way that we would know her character as previously portrayed on cinema.
Yeah, I guess that's my, and I feel like I'm kind of might be the only one thinking this, but I'm gonna say it because it's my feelings. And I love the X Men and I love Jean, and I just felt like it was kind of weird. Maybe it's because, and I was gonna say this earlier as well. Maybe it's because I've seen so many comic book stories RB3. I think we both have, and we know what telepaths, what kind of responsibility it is to be a telepath. Like if you've seen any X-Men movie, you know that. Just even with Charles, but even if you watch, I don't know, something like Jessica Jones, you just know that telepaths, you just don't do what Jean Grey did in this movie, unless you're like kind of like a POS, like a really bad dude. And the fact that she does it so willy nilly, and so frivolous, and so like, who cares? I'm doing whatever I want. Feels a little weird. I can't lie, RB3. It felt a little weird to make this Jean Grey, because Jean is known for being just ridiculously kind-hearted and sweet. Like that's kind of her thing, is that she is extremely powerful and she's badass and she'll kick your ass, but she's also like genuinely like gives a crap about people and cares for others and innocent people and bystanders and just anyone in general, whether they're human or mutant. And the fact that they made her be so cold-hearted with just random people's consciousness and lives felt weird. It just felt weird. And I might be the only one who thinks that, but for me, I was like, I get it, tragic backstory, but it felt strange to make this Jean and to make that her kind of thing. When at the end, obviously, she finds out that her sister is dead, but by this point, she's just looking for her sister. So her looking for her sister and being so cruel with her methods, with her telepathic abilities, was a little weird for me, in my opinion, just because of what Jean is known for, even if she does have a tragic backstory in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely hear you on that. I think the movie would probably say, or the filmmakers would probably say that this is not an adult Jean. This is not a Jean Grey who's like well established and like know her thoughts, like, and know how to be a hero. Like this is honestly somebody who, we see through the backstory on screen. Like her sister was kind of using it like willy nilly, like nefariously. Like that's how she was kind of taught to use it. Is just to be like, oh, like no, have fun with it, like, and then she doesn't she never had a Professor X or any kind of mentor figure to kind of guide her into the heroic thing, almost like Spider-Man. Spider-Man had that, and that's why he ultimately ends up showing her the way. Like she had a bad, she's obviously on the run from her mom. Like her mom was a terrible mom, and she never really had a mother figure. The closest thing she really has to a mother figure is literally Marissa Tomei, Aunt May, inside of Spider-Man's head, telling her, you're a good person, believe in yourself. I mean, even if she doesn't know if her sister's alive or dead, I could still see the motivation of like her wilding out super crazy only to find, just to find her sister. Like, because she has nobody else in her life, no mother, no father, nothing else. So it's like, yeah, she will probably go to the extreme without having that proper mentorship.
Yeah, it definitely didn't. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it just a few moments. Like I didn't mind the body jumping, I didn't mind the taking over of consciousness, but there's just a few moments that feel especially kind of cruel. I think that's the best way to say it. Uh, Spider-Man even says, Peter even tells her like what you're doing is unforgivable. Like right now, what you're doing is unforgivable, and I think you know what scene I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's the
I mean, yeah, we
MJ
can
on the
talk about
rooftop
it. Yeah.
scene.
Yeah. One
Obviously,
of the
yeah,
better
this is
scenes in the movie.
spoilers. Exactly, it's a
Yeah.
great scene, but it also feels like this is a dead ass villain. Like Spider-Man says, this is unforgivable. Like I don't care who you are, I'm about to beat you up." Because that was messed up. That was so cold to the point that it's like she literally ends that scene with her jumping off the roof, um, literally throwing someone's life at risk just to get to Peter, someone who she knows is already just there's nothing really to like get after. You know what I'm saying? Like there's not a reason for her to be pissed at Peter to do him that dirty. But the scene worked. It really did work, but it worked mainly to me to kind of build up that villain role.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, I think for me, the first time I watched it, I was like, yeah, that was a little villainous. But I think the second time around, it was literally just to be like, yo, stop messing with the plan. Like, you're literally, like, in her mind, she's like, her sister is waiting on me. Like, I need you, Spider Man, to stop messing with my plans to find her. And I'm literally just gonna like I think she threw herself off the building knowing that Spider-Man was gonna catch Zendaya. So it's like she kind of knew you know, um like she wasn't gonna risk her life anyway per se. But like I do think the cruel thing again, like the cruel stuff was like that dude getting hit by the car. That was totally unnecessary. Like that had no motivation
I
for
was gonna
that.
say she didn't think Spider-Man would say Spider-Man did not
Yeah,
get
that was
it.
yeah,
He
that
did
was
not
that was
care, bro.
unbelievable. Yeah, that was crazy. And then just all the bombs that she planted was like, okay, you don't know who you was gonna
Who's gonna
hit.
get blown up? Yeah.
Right, right. So that was a little reckless. But again, it's like recklessness in the sake of like you have this extraordinary. She's the prime example of a character who has great power but has no responsibility. So it's
Hmm.
a good foil to kind of put Spider-Man, who is trying to teach her like, yo, be responsible, yo, take accountability, look out for the people around you, and she is kind of getting that teaching like in real time. So I can kind of see like a person with uncontrolled power and just completely motivated by rage and revenge, they can make some questionable choices. I can see that personally.
Yeah,
So
no, I could see it too. Again, I actually like that. I like everything that they set up with her, but there's like a little part of me, and it might just be me, but I'm sure there might be someone else who might feel the same way. Where like if it was any other, like if this was Emma Frost,
mm,
if they told me Emma Frost, who's also a telepath, also very strong, but she also can play a little bit of an anti-hero role in the X-Men, and apparently she's already cast um, in the
yeah,
MCU,
Samara
which is
Weaving.
Samara Weaving. Yeah, but Emma Frost, right? Emma Frost is a perfect
Mm,
example, kind of like a Jean Grey esque character, telepath, but also kind of anti-hero. I would have been
mm,
like, this is awesome. This is great. Like she's in that gray area, pun intended.
okay.
And she's kind of doing her thing. She's messing with people's consciousness, and then she needs a mentor, Peter-like figure, to show her the good side and to show her honesty, integrity, and having someone care about you is what really matters. I would have loved it. I dead ass. I love that scene, and we can talk about that as well. When it comes to the Aunt May scene inside Peter's head, the memory that he has that kind of snaps her out of it. I thought that was great. I think that's really clever superhero sci-fi story writing, where you're getting the villain to kind of see a different perspective by showing him a good example. What is a good example of someone who can teach you and someone who can show you a better way to do what you're doing or to do something different? I really love that. I just think the Jean aspect. I was like, Jean would never do this, no matter how like angry she is. But I get it. I think it works, and I think what saves it RB3 for me personally, and I think you already said it. I think it's Sadie Sink. I think Sadie Sink is great casting, fantastic casting. I think she in this movie and in this role, with the few emotional scenes she has, are very powerful. And very effective. So I really like the casting. How do you feel about her performance in this movie and what she kind of means as Jean Grey moving forward?
Yeah, she was great. She was great. That scene when they're like kind of torturing her and Tramell Tillman, salute to brother from Severance. Tramell Tillman was great as always. When they're torturing her and she realizes the VMAX is really the vent, the air conditioning vent that her sister was looking at when she died. Is like, oh, that's dark, you know? It's getting super dark. And then yeah, she had to kind of explode. Honestly, low key, her same arc from Stranger Things in a lot of ways. Like she had a very similar arc
You
to
talking
like
about
her
Max's
Stranger
arc?
Things. Like
Yeah.
yeah. So it's like kind of funny, you know. She's kind of doing the same thing, but no, it was good though. It was good seeing her angry and then kind of have like the peaceful, calm down type situation. Yeah, she had a lot of range and played the villain thing well, but also the good part well, the good guy part as well because you know even though that's also I would say too, like she did the unforgivable thing with throwing MJ off the roof and stuff, but she also helped save Peter's life.
Yeah, and I think that that concept, as I mentioned before, I don't know what you think about it, but I think that worked. The Aunt May memory scene. How'd you feel about that? Her kind of hopping into his memory.
Yeah, that was cool. I mean, definitely fun way to get Marissa Tomei into a lot of the
Sure.
movie
Yep.
without with only really shooting like one scene. And it was great too. The second time I watched it, I was really paying attention. I was like, what is she saying this entire time? Like, is she saying different lines to Peter versus her? But no, it's literally. I mean, we it's good storytelling too because we see the first part of it, like when she first tried to sneak into his mind, and we see the second half of it when he's thinking about things about to change, and he's like, "What do you mean by that?" And it cuts to that. It cuts to him having the biological changes, and then the third part when we see it with Sadie Sink, we finally get the full scene laid out and it's all the same dialogue. It's like step one, step two, step three. It's like we're just seeing the continuing of what the conversation was. But it's a good conversation, and it's a convo that doesn't seem like it was just contrived directly for the movie. You know, because sometimes movies will do that, right? They have a scene that's like, wow, y'all wrote this just for the movie, just to get this cameo in here. But no, it felt like something Aunt May would have said in Homecoming or Far From Home. Yeah, that was great. That was great. Great scene. I saw it in Screen X, which the film in Screen X both times I saw it, and the side walls. It was a cool effect for the most part, but it was cool seeing it when it was zoom into the hallway and then you would zoom in and you just also see the walls on the side of the screens like also zoom in as well. Like it was a really cool effect, you know?
I was gonna say that that works with Screen X pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Because of
There's
that
certain
that
scenes.
zoom in all the way to the bed. Yeah.
Yeah. There were certain scenes that worked really well in Screen X, but that particular one was like really cool for sure.
Yeah, I feel like that worked for me. I really like the idea of Peter showing her heart, showing her his heart, and showing her that there is a different path to what she's doing just based on his memories and just based on honestly good energy, good memories, good vibes, good energy. Is kind of literally what he brought to that scene, to that final scene, and that's what really snapped her out of it. And then the idea of, like you said, her saving his life by breathing for him, I thought that was interesting. I don't think I've ever seen that in a telepath before, but I thought that was a really interesting
Yeah.
choice. Her
Yeah,
taking over his
breathing for
body and breathing for him.
y-
Yeah.
yeah, breathing for him and also I feel like protecting the brain from
Mm.
like when you go into a coma and stuff, like you go brain
Hmm.
dead, stuff like
That's
that. It's
true.
like
Yeah.
her also like literally protecting
His
his mental
consciousness.
state.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was great.
Yeah. How'd you feel about the other major part of this movie, in my opinion, is MJ and her kind of going back and forth with Peter as far as knowing about him, not knowing about him chasing after her, him feeling really bad, having that traumatic breakdown as he transforms into more of the evolved version of a Spider-Man. How'd you feel about that whole arc as far as him trying to find his own identity without MJ and with MJ?
Yeah, MJ was great. I mean, Zendaya was great as the character, of course, and she didn't have as big of a role this time around as the other previous films, but still had a good meaty part in there, and the emotional arc of the film definitely. I mean, every scene was the heartbreaker, right? Like,
Hmm.
obviously the meme is like, when she's like, I don't love you, I don't even know you. Like, that's like instant, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and the scene before that, we see her kissing Ezra Bridgers, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
Ezra Bridger. Shout out
And
Ezra.
then yeah, fool ends up like he starts swinging like crying. He's crying so
Yeah,
hard, the tears. I'm like, okay, like there's a lot emotionally, but it was a good through line. I mean, I was sent that way too over Zendaya as well,
bro, I'd be
So
crying too, bro.
right,
I'd
right,
be going through metamorphosis.
right. No, for real,
um,
traumatic injuries.
yeah, man. Yeah, let's go to that one because I feel like that's the biggest one. It's not the fake out one was crazy too, obviously, but the real one, which is her reading the letter, and her confessing that she genuinely does not know who he is, and cannot feel the same way he does because she just doesn't have those memories. How'd you feel about that scene?
Yeah, tough scene, tough scene, tough scene. It's heartbreaking stuff. I mean, I was
And then
definitely
she said,
moaning in the
"Can you take
theater.
me home?"
Yeah,
I
that's
was
when
like,
Buddy
"This
should just
shit."
called it an Uber. Like,
Yeah, I thought this shit was. I was like, this for some reason. I like this scene. I thought it was so real. It
right.
really felt real. It really felt like that.
Yeah,
She needs
that's
a
how
ride
it should
home.
be.
She's like,
Right.
yeah, it's not gonna work out, but hey, I don't know. My friend's a friend of yours. You want to hang out? Like, it felt like kind of like a fun. I don't know. I liked it. I think it worked really well.
No, there's definitely going to be a section of young, men and women who had that exact same
Hmm.
experience. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Which is just like really funny. Yeah, super relatable on that. What was cool was seeing her memories, or seeing her and Ned's memories, kind of teeter back and forth a lot through it as well. And I mean, there's some fun theories. I'm like, actually, we'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, that was a good scene. That was a good scene up on the rooftop of her. Like that was probably one of the better written scenes and acted scenes of her, the fake out and her, having that turn. And that was probably her best moment in the film. But yeah, she had those scenes, and then the well, also too, I mean, honestly, really the whole second hander, we haven't even addressed him at all yet, is Punisher, Frank
Punisher. I was gonna
Castle.
mention him right now. Yeah.
Yeah, at the scene when they pull up to Frank's house and they have to escape all the booby traps, was just like actually kind of funny. How did Frank have the time or muscle to like rig all that stuff up by himself? Makes no sense, but funny stuff. It's a really good gag. And yeah, Zendaya still with the scenes that she was in, even though she wasn't as much in this movie as the previous film.
Yeah, I think she's always great in everything she's in. Obviously, for a reason, she is that good for a lot of movies, and I think she stood out in this movie as well. I think you're right. She isn't as much in this movie as I thought she would be, as in other Spider-Man films. But I feel like every scene she's in worked, and I think the final goodbye that she has with Peter worked as well. And I know it's kind of played for laughs a little bit, but I did think that worked. The when he like steps out the window and he goes to Department of Damage Control, and she says, "Be safe, Peter," or something like that. Um, I think it worked. It worked because it gave you that little hint as far as like, yes, I don't know you. Yes, I'm not in love with you, but I vibe with you. Like there's, you know what I'm saying? There's something there. So I think that worked out, and her saying that was cool.
And there's, we could probably talk about theories, but there's maybe even a world where her memories might have gotten unlocked by Jean Grey too. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe, yeah,
Um, yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
well, because I mean, I'll just say it now. I mean, this is completely from Twitter, not from me. But you peep when Jean Grey hit the whole city with the whole mind warp freezing thing. We saw Zendaya was frozen, MJ was frozen, but then like some tears started rolling down her eyes. Like, oh, what's she thinking about? Like, what's up with
Hmm.
the tears now all of a sudden? And then after that, she wakes up and is like kind of cool. And she goes to the rooftop that her and Peter were at in the previous films. She's sitting there, she's holding the Black Dahlia necklace that's on her neck. And now I feel like she's kind of like the memories are coming back to her. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that could be. I mean, I saw that on Twitter and it makes super sense to me, especially after, we'll talk about Hulk 2 in a little bit. But Sadie Sink, Jean Grey, after she got hold of Hulk, his memories also kind of seemingly restored as well when he's like, I'm Peter. And then like he's like, Peter, friend. And then like kind of transforms back. So that could be a little bit of what Jean Grey might be up to, like unlocking those memories.
No, it's a really good point. I think that makes a lot of sense, especially with the necklace. You're right, because I don't think that was brought up throughout the entire movie except for that scene. And
Mm,
obviously, we can just go to the ending, spoil the ending really quick, with Ned doing the handshake. Um, that definitely made it seem like he did remember by the end of it. And I know that's how they end it because I think that's what they're trying to tell you. I guess is that the fact that he did remember Peter by doing the handshake, um, and it also made it seem like his it's like second nature to him. Like his body remembered it first, and then his mind
mm,
remembered it, kind of thing. But then
right.
a lot of other people have also brought up, starting with obviously with Eric. You have to. This is new rock stars, bro. You have to take a. You have to have some faith in what he says. But he also mentioned the fact that because he has magical abilities, he could probably bypass a little bit more of that Doctor Strange spell. Because we did see him use the sling ring and then open the portals to get the other Peters in No Way Home. So there is a big
Yeah.
possibility that Ned is would be the first one to remember because he could probably power through that spell a little bit easier.
Yeah, that was the first thing me and my friends were talking about after theater. Like that was their theory. I think it could be that. I also thought about in No Way Home when Doctor Strange pushes out Peter's mind out of his body, and his body still did like the spider reflex thingies. Like
Yeah,
it
yeah,
could be a
yeah.
world where like the spell only affected the mental, but the physical, when he's doing the dap up, then it's like, oh, like yeah, like you said, muscle memory. Like
Muscle memory.
it's
Yep.
like
The
yeah,
body
like it's
remembers.
just
Yeah.
the body remembers. Like maybe the mind doesn't, but maybe that's like the connection of like what all starts to make it happen.
Yeah, it's not 100% confirmed why he's able to resist Jean Grey. I just assumed it was his Spidey sense, um,
Yeah.
and just his Spidey sensibilities, kind of like that Doctor Strange scene where he is able to still have those reflexes because of his spider sense and how that works. So I feel like that's also something there too. But we have to. I want to go back to Frank real fast. How did you feel about his role throughout the entire movie and what he kind of represented for Peter?
Yeah, he was good. It was fun. It was another great foil between um Sadie Sink and Peter Parker and
Frank
Punisher,
Castle.
like
Yeah.
Asshole. I feel like they're all separate sides of the coin. Like Peter Parker is great power, great responsibility. Sadie Sink is great power, no responsibility. Frank is like no power, but all the responsibility. In fact, I'm gonna take too much responsibility in my hands and like just shoot everybody I can. You know what I'm saying? So it's I think it's a good way to kind of show like also the dichotomy of like somebody who's willing to take the life versus somebody who's willing to stand by. When I first watched the movie, I was nervous they're gonna nerf Frank's anger and aggression and everything, which they did to some extent, but they didn't nerf it as bad as like I thought it was. Like he wasn't cracking jokes, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't like hitting one-liners. And honestly, the arc felt fairly realistic. Like he did want, like, even in the Punisher series and in the Punisher Kills movie, he's always had a soft spot for young people, for kids. So like it kind of makes sense that he'll take a liking to Tom Holland's Peter Parker. And kind of like see him as like somebody who he could kind of like take care of a little bit, like kind of like his son or his daughter who he lost. And then when again spoilers, he ends up shooting Spider-Man, and that really I think was a good eye opener for Frank of like, dang, maybe I am like doing this a little wrong, maybe it shouldn't come life or death. I thought it was great. I thought it was a little bit of watered down Frank, but it served a great purpose in the story for sure, in my
It is a
opinion.
little bit watered down. I agree with you, but at the same time, when he took out the sniper rifle, I was like, all right,
Yeah, that's Frank. Yeah,
there's Frank,
yeah.
right? He's
All
gonna
right.
kill some 19-year-old girl who has telepathic control over like hundreds of people. I guess we don't know
Thousands.
what would happen if he killed her when everyone was in that state. Would everyone die? Like he doesn't know
Right.
that. Like what is he doing?
Yeah.
But he thinks he's saving the day. So yeah, Frank is crazy. So definitely, I think he worked in the movie as well. I do have some. I don't want to call it gripes, but I do feel like there is a little bit, and I'm not the first one to bring this up, but there is a little bit of a weird, like, authority figure kind of aspect to this movie that I felt like didn't quite work for me, specifically with the Spider-Man character. But for me, it starts with first things first. This is me just going on a mini rant about something. But first things first, for me, the Department of Damage Control is so clearly like, we follow them since what? Since if we want to go back to Homecoming, is what we remember. They first appeared in Homecoming. Their first appearance was in a Spider-Man movie. They've been on some bullshit since then, bro. Like, why is Spider-Man? Why is Peter like, keep up the great work, guys? You know, thank you for your service. Like, I'm just like, what? What these guys are? They've never been good people. Like, why do you just take their word and take meetings with them and just be like, yeah, I'm sure they're doing great stuff. They're not bad. So that was a little weird for me. That definitely felt like, I think we moved past that Peter, the naive Peter, where he just believes authority figures are doing the right thing because they're doing the right thing. So I think that was a little weird. I also thought it was a little weird, and this is just me again going on my own personal thing, that his best friend was like the police lieutenant. That was a little weird. I was like, all right, Spider-Man is like besties with like the police lieutenant. And then they made that whole like emotional, like you almost killed a cop. Like, how could you do that?
I thought that was funny.
Yeah, I thought that was weird. I was like, this is a little propaganda right now. And I thought it was kind of strange. Bro. And the Department of Damage Control, besties with like a lieutenant cop, and then I don't know, man. And then Frank's like crazy too. I don't know, man. It felt a little weird.
They're all different authorities, right? They're all different types of authorities. Definitely the Frank Castle one I understand. The Frank Castle one I understand mainly because it's like
that's
they're
the one
both
I forgive
anti-heroes.
the most.
They're both vigilantes. And plus, I don't know. Did you see the Punisher 1 hour special that they did on Disney Plus? Like, see, the one thing with that special I mess with, and I was joking with my girlfriend last night, but as I rewatched it and she watched it for the first time last night, Frank Castle really do be saving all the black people. Like, in that movie, he literally specifically only saves black people. Like, there's black people who are about to get killed, and Frank's like, no, boom. Like, and it's like, I like that. I like that Frank is like pro-black in a way. You know what I'm saying? And then, so I'm cool with him. I definitely think he's like a crazy white dude, but he don't try to hurt no brothers. He actually try to help brothers. So I like Frank. With the NYPD, it's funny. That was literally the controversy when the PS5 game or the PlayStation game came out, because that's all. And again, another reminiscent thing of the PlayStation game is literally half the game is him being like, hey, I forget the officer's name, but there's also a woman officer in that one too. Like, hey, officer, I just did this. Like, literally after every mission, he like calls the police, and it's like, people were really mad about that during that time too. So I was like, dang, yeah, that's
it's real. Weird, bro. It's kind of weird. It's kind of freaking weird.
Yeah, it's weird, but it's also like he probably is like, I want to make sure I'm different than the other superheroes. Like, that's like probably the difference between him and Frank, I guess. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? This movie got to sell to middle America, man. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't like that though, especially. But as you say that, Marvel is like canceling POC projects left and right. They're sidelining characters. They're disappearing characters. They're making audiences believe certain characters don't exist anymore, and they all happen to be POCs. Like, come on, bro. Like, there is something fishy going on, and I do think it's a little weird that the emotional crux that made Spider-Man be ashamed and be like, I got to put an inhibitor chip and create an inhibitor chip, was because some police officer got a headache, bro. Like, got a rock fell on her head. Like, come on, bro.
No.
Come on.
It wasn't no rock.
Like, who gives a crap?
No, it was no rock. No.
Bro,
it was
come
no
on.
Rock.
It's not even like an innocent bystander. It's not even like, if it was like, I almost killed an innocent bystander or almost got him killed, that would be more. But they were like, you can't do that to the cops. And it's just like, all right, bro. All right.
Well, it's like legal trouble too. It's like legal trouble. So, I mean, also too, like, I don't want to, with the Marvel, canceling POC projects, you already know what time, that's on. You know what I'm saying?
But it's a little extra though, bro. You gotta admit, these past couple of years, they've been extra with it.
But I don't think that specifically correlates with like this NYPD depiction. I just think that's just
I kind of think it does, but that's just me. I kind of think it does.
Nah.
Bro.
Okay. I gotta say, you're being a friend that's too woke right now. You definitely being a friend that's too woke.
No,
right
because
now.
think about it this way.
A little bit.
Think about it this way. Frank Castle. What Frank Castle represents, bro. Like, bro, you can't go to Middle America without seeing a Punisher logo on some cop car or on some random ass people's car. Like, he still represents that. He still represents that kind of right wing adjacent kind of ideology. And I know
but
Frank
Marvel,
doesn't. Frank doesn't.
Frank doesn't, and Marvel
denounces it.
Marvel Marvel has
But
been working
audiences still have
overtime to
that.
just but Marvel. Okay, you're right. Audiences do, but Marvel has been working triple time to try to separate that to the point of where they literally made the bad cops in Daredevil Born Again wear the Punisher thing and be like, no, these are trash cops. Like these are the worst kind of cops. Like so, I definitely like. I definitely
You're
think
right.
that for
But then the cops.
Frank they've been trying to move away from that for sure. With the Spider-Man thing, I definitely think that is just more inherent in the character and like just who the Spider-Man character
I
is. Because
disagree.
I was
I think that
well,
Spider-Man has always been a man of the people. Like that's the role of Spider-Man. I think Spider-Man
yeah,
is supposed
yeah.
to be the everyman. He's not supposed to be cop's best friend. He's not supposed to be.
Nah, but
He's always been.
The first Sam Raimi,
He's
no,
always
wait,
been
the
against
first
the
Sam
law.
Raimi movie, the first Andrew Garfield movie, the cops are hunting him down, but he's literally going out of his way to like save the police captain. And, oh, Gwen Stacy's dead. I gotta make sure. Like it's like there's all of these like, and again the PS5 game. I just feel like all of these versions are like pro cop, and I just feel like that's just like a little bit of like an inherent thing. I literally had to roll my eye. I remember during 2012 because 2012 to me I was definitely more like woke and passionate during 2012. And like during that time, I rolled my eyes so hard at that like Amazing Spider-Man bull. Like that was more annoying to me than what was in this one, like slightly. With this one, I like it because it's the lady from the bear and stuff. But you're right. You're right. It's definitely there. And that's what people were talking about with the PlayStation game as well. Like the whole propaganda thing of it. I think it was like slightly less egregious than like the oh, never forgets. Oh, 9/11. Oh, cops that we saw in all of the Sam Raimi trilogy. Like that was actually disgusting, really, you know, in my opinion. Like
I'm with you. I just feel like it is. I do think it's connected, and I do think there's a lot of correlation behind it. And I do think that is, like you said, they're trying to sell something to Middle America. But then if you're trying to sell something to Middle America, and at the same time you're canceling other projects that happen to have POC characters, that's when it smells a little extra fishy, in my opinion. And that's when you are kind of losing points, in my opinion. And that's what you're trying to cater to, not good people. And that's something that needs to be called out. As much as we can enjoy a movie, I still think it needs to be called out. So. Yeah.
yeah,
That's just me.
true.
And then the Department of Damage Control thing too, bro. Like, how stupid can you be?
That one, okay, well, that one
These
I
guys
do think
have been on bullshit since forever, and Spider-Man's like, thank you guys.
no, see that's the one. I don't think that's Spider-Man's fault. I think like I think Spider-Man thinks like in Spider-Man's mind, he's thinking he doesn't know this whole thing with like Miss Marvel. Like we've seen him act up with Miss Marvel, with Wonder Man.
That's not true. In No
like,
Way Home, they arrested MJ, they arrested Ned, and they're questioning them. Remember, without a lawyer, that was Department of Damage Control. That was Stewie from.
Too. And
that
they
was
arrested
Stewie.
him too.
They arrested him too. That was Stewie, bro.
Yeah.
A block of local TV stations, highly undervalued.
TV. Oh, I remember those. We still have one of those in my gym.
Oh, it's so great to have the wisdom of my son's college drinking buddy in the room.
I just love the way he asks me for money.
It's the classic white people thing. Like, if it don't affect me, I don't care. You know, he thinking, oh, they only tap me because I'm Peter Parker, and they want to tap my friends, and they want to like get my head in. So as soon as that's forgotten, he's like, oh, okay, maybe they good, like good cops, good. You know, he's thinking they're locking up Scorpion, they're locking up all my villains, like they're holding it down for me. Like he's probably thinking like they're on my team now. So then, you know, and naturally, I don't think that actually when I rewatched it, I went back and went and looked for this specifically. I was like, how much did he really trust them in the beginning? And he was kind of already, as soon as he walked into that building, he was already questioning Tramell Tillman's character, Bill something, like right from the first rip. He's like, yo, what's up with this scan? Like, y'all don't trust anybody here? Like, it's like, oh, we have certain protocols. He's looking at the weapons. He's like, those are big weapons. Like, what y'all doing over here? And then he starts asking about the VMAX, and then Tramell Tillman don't tell him. He's like, nah, I can't tell you. Like, a superhero don't tell you them. So like, he was smelling something. I think you're right though. I think he assumed that. I think there's a little naivety to it, but I also think it's a little bit of like, oh, they obviously helped me lock up Scorpion. They helped me lock up the Hand. They helped me lock up all of these people who I wouldn't, you know, the normal prisons obviously can't hold. So at least let me like shoot them some bell, like slightly, you know, like at least they're holding majority bad guys that he put away personally.
Yeah, it felt weird to me. He also defended it when Jean Grey brought it up when she was possessing that one dude, and he was like, "Oh, Department of Damage Control they only go after bad guys. He said something like that, and I was like, how
Dangerous
stupid.
people.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah,
how
dangerous
stupid
people
are
like
you,
you.
bro? Come on. Yeah. I don't know. It sounded really dumb coming from someone who's been antagonized by themselves, literally antagonizing MJ and Ned as well. And then he's like gung ho about him. I don't know. It felt a little weird. It felt a little weird that he couldn't see through a little bit more of their bullshit, and just like happily, turned over Jean Grey to. He had no idea what was going on, and then as soon as he realized it, he was like, "Oh no." I was like, bro, how could you not see some bullshit coming, bro? I don't know. It felt a little weird for me. But
to me, I guess in my mind, I'm thinking it's 4 years from No Way Home. A whole presidential term has come. A whole new mayor has come into town. Like no more Mayor Fisk. A whole new mayor giving the key to the city. So it's like, okay, maybe things have changed. They're obviously locking up the Hand and locking up all these people who I put away. He probably thinking, I don't know anywhere else to put Jean Grey. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's probably his mind. Like, literally, no other prison's going to be able to hold her. So, like, but again, he didn't. I'm glad that when Spidey learned the information, and salute to that great cameo from Elena Volova, aka Black Widow. I'm glad that they're calling her Black Widow now to, really let y'all know, like, oh, she's the new Black Widow, And yeah, but she told him, it's like, yo, these, like, you got to handle this yourself. Like, it's small potato stuff. But she also did help him find the info on, like, I think it's funny, now that she's a new Avenger, she has access to all this government back end stuff. She's even looking at the DC stuff and it's like, oh, this is kind of weird. Spidey, here, take this. Like, you should know. Like, so I think, like, even she as a government official had no idea on the top level, but then when she started looking into it, she's like, oh man, this is kind of weird.
Yeah, no, that made sense too. And obviously, you don't have to tell me twice about her. I love her, and I think she's great in all these movies.
Bathtub scene, I'm like, yo, man, you wanna stand up a little bit? And now we got Spidey in his underwear.
Destin Daniel Cretton, bro. I don't know what time he was on, bro.
Yeah,
I don't know what time he was on, bro. Freaking Tom Holland on them roids, bro.
Yeah.
He's on that gear, bro. He looked huge, man.
Yeah, he did. Especially after that, when he got his organic webs and he started like, you had to climb back into the window. Like, that was really funny. Yeah, I thought him wearing the little Juicy Couture sweatpants and getting back into the window was funny. I thought there's some funny scenes. Also, like, probably the least funny Spider-Man movie of this new Tom Holland series.
That's a good point.
Which is cool. I appreciated less jokes, more serious,
Yeah, more serious. Yeah, more emotional stakes as well. Yeah, I agree with that for sure. And I do think that this that Tom Holland's character, his role as Peter, is definitely a little bit more established. I kind of like, somebody said that, like, Spider-Man's a little bit more confident in who he is as far as just how he communicates with people in general, which I thought was really, really cool. I agree with that as well. He is a little bit more back-talky, more sassy, which is what Spider-Man is known for. Again, if you play the games or if you've followed any kind of Spider-Man media, he always talks back, which is something that we haven't seen Tom's character do as much. Tom's Peter, I mean. So the fact that he was doing that in this version was cool. So, yeah, that was cool. I think it worked out. I still don't like. I'm not a big fan of the Hand either. Just kind of submitting to the DODC. I thought that was kind of lame. It didn't make sense to me. This is like an ancient organization, and they're just like willy-nilly security guards. All right, I'm gonna believe it, but that's cool.
I mean, yeah, I think they literally were like, oh, people didn't watch the Netflix thing. People didn't watch this. They have no idea like who the Hand is. Let's just make them ninjas, Honestly, salute to just Destin Daniel Cretton just putting ninjas in a Spider-Man movie, like it really make no sense. The Hand, after Shang-Chi, I mean, the Hand really didn't make sense, especially after you watch the Defenders and the Daredevil Netflix stuff. Like, it literally makes no sense. They're completely defeated in that series. But okay, they somehow made it come back. It was good looking though, and the way they would do the whole climbing on each other thing, like when they were fighting, like that was just super super cool choreography all the way around.
Yeah, I think they were just there mainly for that because obviously Destin Daniel Cretton known for the Shang-Chi martial arts scene, so he wanted to show off a little bit of that. Very crouching tiger, extremely crouching tiger, hidden dragon. More than I think I've ever seen in any movie. I haven't seen that much martial arts in a minute. Well, I don't know what the last. I don't know if you can think of.
Honestly,
Shang-Chi, maybe. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, but even No, you're right. You're right. Shang-Chi did have a lot of it, mainly with uh, Shang-Chi's father. I want to say that's how he fought
Yeah,
mainly.
when Wu or
Yeah.
something like that.
So
And then
that's a good point.
and again, I really do. It was movie was good, but if that fight scene at the end with the ninjas was just longer, like I just needed a little bit more of that, like because they fought for like 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, and then Spider-Man turned on his little, anger thing, and then he did the big web move. I'm like, that's cool, but if y'all just gave me 3, 4, 5 more minutes of just pure hands, just pure
Yeah.
mano y mano fighting, like I would have ate that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Same.
but yeah, I get it. They, whatever, money, time, stunts. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of which, real quick before we move on, Hulk. We got to see full Hulk. We haven't seen that in a minute.
Savage
I
Hulk.
thought that was sick. I didn't expect that at
Yeah.
all. Obviously, we knew that Hulk was going to be in this movie, and we even saw a clip at Hall H. But I thought it was going to be smart Hulk, kind of, messing around, kind of like what we saw when he's first Hulk. But the fact that he went full Hulk mode, and Hulk came back and low-key kicked Gene out of his head, which I really like too, because Hulk is an entire different entity. You can't just, take over his consciousness like that. What do you think of that scene? Even if it was quick, what'd you think of it?
No, that was cool. It was cool and it was quick. Another thing I kind of wish they didn't show at all, like at all. That would have been just a really cool surprise.
Yeah.
And they didn't show a lot of it, to be fair. Like, but they did show some of them. Like, yo, that just would have been like a really cool moment to experience in the theater. Like, I think honestly, my days of watching trailers might be over after this movie, because
This was pretty bad. I agree, man. This is, I would say this is the biggest example in years, I would say, that the trailer kind of ruined a lot of scenes and a lot of moments, and the online
Yeah.
discourse and like who's playing who. Like, it kind of ruined it
Yeah.
for me. I can't lie. Yeah, I agree with you.
You're right. But I mean, they see the movies making $360 million opening weekend. They're gonna say, hey, let's put all the movie in the trailers from going forward now. But yeah, I thought he was good. It was good. It was good. Him seeing the Hulk kind of incorporation to the story, because it made sense with the gamma radiation and this whole thing he's inventing. And I like that Bruce Banner kind of puts it in Peter's head, like, yo, what you're doing is not a good idea, man. This inhibitor thing is universal inhibitor. This is really dangerous. Like, you're creating something bad. And I definitely think, DODC is going to be using that heavy in whatever X-Men content they end up making. So
That's the caller. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you watch if you see X-Men the animated series '97, the caller. That's the caller, the inhibitor chip, whatever they're gonna call it, but that's basically the caller. Is what he created. So that's some dangerous stuff.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I love the fake out too, of not fake out, but like, Peter walks up to Bruce at first and he just starts to give him a stupid, like, if I take this off, you don't see me get angry. Oh, and then like Peter asks him a real science question. He's like, wait, who's this guy? Who are you again? And he lies and tells him Ned or whatever. That's funny. But yeah, I thought it was really that was a good scene, good setup, good character incorporation. I know a lot of people were saying, some criticisms were saying this movie was like overstuffed and too many characters. I think this is a good example of not overstuffing it. Like, I feel like every character had a particular involvement that both mattered thematically and also like just added more color and more dimension to the world. Like, you got, they'd be having those charts like chaotic evil, neutral evil, chaotic good, neutral. You know what I'm saying? Like, we had characters that kind of colored all of those charts in a weird way. But it was a good variety to highlight the differentiation of the MCU.
Yeah, I agree. I think it all worked out really well balanced, incredibly well balanced, which is what a lot of people are giving credit to Destin Daniel Cretton for, is that great balance. I say let's move on to the post-credit scene real quick, RB3. What were your first thoughts when you saw that, and what do you think it means?
First thought was that was some old bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I was like, why I hate these long ass credits and just for this, Yeah, I don't know what it means. I mean, maybe me and the homies saw it on Thursday and we thought thought maybe it could be like Noel from. I know you don't watch the Venom movies, but at the end of Venom 3, they kind of alluded to Noel kind of coming to Earth, looking for Venom or looking for Eddie Brock or whatever. So maybe that is like kind of like a Noel or like a Venom planet kind of like looking something that could be kind of interesting. But then of course, like what I thought too, just after watching, I actually didn't watch Eric Voss's video, or I actually didn't watch any breakdown video yet. Specifically so I could like come into this review with like a clean mind. I also thought maybe, hey, it could be that Fantastic Four ship that we see coming in Thunderbolts, but also maybe it's Spider-Man's on there. Maybe it's Tobey Maguire. You know what I'm saying? Like, because Tobey, I mean, I'm thinking like, Sam Raimi movies, those kind of look like 1960s looking esque just from like the design and stuff. Maybe that's set in the Fantastic Four universe. Maybe he's on the ship with them, and maybe Toby's in Doomsday. I don't know. I'm just thinking, So
Yeah, I hope it's
I don't know.
not
What do you
that.
think, though?
I hope
You hope it's not that. What do you think?
I heard that in Twitter somewhere. I heard someone say Tobey Maguire. I just don't. I don't like it. I think that one scene in No Way Home, the one moment he had in No Way Home was perfect, and it would just kind of undercut it in my opinion. But yeah, first thing, I was thinking about this for a minute, but then I kept thinking about Battle World. I thought, isn't that a thing?
Yeah, that's what people are saying. Doomsday, Secret Wars lean to.
So Secret Wars, I think Secret Wars might be kind of the Battle World type thing. And then I don't remember everything. You might know more than me, bro. The concept art, but wasn't like the Young Avengers like off-world or something like that? Weren't they like on Battle World or something? No,
I don't know.
And
Well,
Secret
I
Wars,
think
like concept art or something like that.
Well, yeah. Well, it looked like there were maybe on-world, off-world. Looked like definitely Peter Parker. I mean, it looked like Chris Pratt was there, so maybe Earth. I don't know.
I kind of think that that's what it is. I think maybe this is like, I don't know if like Battle World's like a physical location. I'm not super caught up on the Doomsday Battle World Secret Wars arc stuff on the comics. This is definitely after my time. But at the same time, if it is off world, I think that's maybe where Peter is while the events of Doomsday are taking place. So maybe Peter is off world with, fingers crossed, Kamala. If Kamala's there, Kamala Khan, Peter, maybe Captain Marvel somehow. Maybe you're right. Maybe the Guardians somehow. Maybe a Peter Quill and a Rocket Raccoon. Maybe that's where they're at, and they're going to be like Team 2 after Team 1 loses to Doomsday in Avengers Doomsday. That's kind of what I'm thinking. And maybe he's going to be the leader of that new, team. Maybe Young Avengers, maybe like a Kamala Khan, Kate Bishop, and then some Guardians maybe.
Yeah, no, I mean that could be fire. I know some people say that. I mean, again, I actually don't know. Some people, according to them fools at New Rockstars, they be saying that like, and one of the things in the Battle World situation, there's like a Spider Island, like where there's like an island of Spider-Men or something like that. So maybe there's a world where in Secret Wars there's like all three of our Spider-Men, Toby, Andrew, Tom, and then maybe even we get like a, Donald Glover, you know what I'm saying, him thing, and I don't know, maybe we just get some cameos in that. But I do think if it's space, part of me feels like if it got to be something connected to like a ship coming or some extra dimensional thing coming to Earth, because it just seemed like it was like in Earth, like just the way the little tracker like went into like the Earth's orbit. It seems like maybe it could be, I don't know. It would be cool. I think it would be cool. I personally would like to see Tom Holland's Spider-Man try to go to a different universe in search of, figuring out or finding the answer to like this question or whatever Doom is doing. Ultimately ends up stumbling upon like a young Miles Morales. That's also one thing I was gonna say too. Did you think that little kid at the end that Peter was looking at, did you think that was like a young Miles Morales that he was looking at the end?
Remind me of what kid?
Like he walked out the hospital, and then Frank did the funny thing of like he put on the mask, and then like everybody's cheering, and then like there's like a long, the little thwip that the little kid in the spider costume was doing at the very end. Just because it felt like you know, they lingered on that kid for like such a long time, like especially in watching the second time, like, dang, they really did like have a long shot on that kid. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's maybe them kind of being like, oh, maybe this is young Miles, you know, like kind of looking and being inspired. I don't know. In the same way that they said that Spider-Man was in Iron Man 2, you know, when Iron Man does the little, he does the little thing with Iron Man. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know if that was Miles. I think that was definitely more of like an emotional representation of how Peter's supposed to feel, seeing how he's being an inspiration to people and how he's so loved and that kind of stuff. I think that's why they lingered on it, maybe. But I could still see them introducing Miles live action. I definitely do see that as a huge possibility, for sure.
Yeah,
I
could see it happening in Secret Wars. Honestly, I think with the whole multiverse thing, I could see just Miles just kind of floating in there somehow. I don't know.
Yeah, if you did have a Miles, would you want it to be in the Tom Holland universe or a separate universe?
Yeah, I will want to see him do the mentorship thing.
Yeah.
Have a full arc of him mentoring the next generation. Because yeah, I mean, you know, we've seen Iron Man kind of pass the torch to him. I would love to see him kind of pass the torch to the next kid, you know, whoever that kid is. And also too, it'll be a good opportunity for his character to either die peacefully or like retire peacefully, you know, one of those two. I mean, you can't have him doing it forever. I just know that I don't want to see him get into his 40s or 50s playing Spider-Man. So at some point, yeah, do the handoff, maybe a Spider-Man 6, you know, or something like that, like the end of this trilogy or whatever. And yeah, just officially let it rock out with a new Miles for sure.
That'd be cool.
For sure.
That'd be really cool.
But at least,
yeah, go ahead.
Also, don't let it happen in like one movie and then we switch it over. No, let's build it. Let's literally start laying the eggs now. So then, like, when the full switchover happens, then the Miles Morales Spider-Man movies could also be $2 billion movies instead of just randomly switching and just killing the momentum, you know, of the fan base.
I agree with that too. Yeah, 100%. And I could definitely see that happening because I do feel like Miles is such. I still think Miles is a big market. There's a big market for Miles, I guess is what I'm saying.
Oh, for sure.
A lot of kids love Miles, man. A ton of kids. All my nieces and nephews, like if you tell them who is their Spider-Man, it's Miles. And I do think that's a big market that they want to tap into as well. So I could definitely see that happening for sure. It's crazy, man. Last thing I'll say, I do think it's kind of funny. I don't know why I kept thinking about this, how Peter throughout the whole movie is trying to get MJ back and trying to get MJ to remember, and he can't. But the one time he pulled up to the homie just with the handshake, and I was just like, what is this movie trying to say?
Yeah. Bros before hoes.
Yeah, exactly. They're literally like, bros got you, bro. Bros got you. And like he remembered right away. And homegirl was just like, I don't know you. So I just thought that was kind of funny how he was like, you know what? Homies, bro. Homies for life. Literally. So, but yeah, I thought that was kind of a fun way to end it.
Yeah, that was definitely a fun way to end it. I mean, that was definitely a fun way. It's funny. There's like a lot of funny, interesting little beasts in there. With Ned, them building the Star Wars tour together, and then Zendaya showing them the drawing, like, oh, y'all do look like friends. I'm like, oh, that's sweet. And they did the little voices at each other. I forgot what movie that was. Was that like that fan, like a Never Ending Story or something like that? I forgot which one. But that was a nice little. Oh, they just know each other just through like pop culture. And then, dang, there was another scene that happened right towards the beginning that also. Oh, I love the little detail of when he gets caught, like when there's like that little blonde girl that was like living in his apartment building, and then like she sees him walk in literally one time and is like, oh hey, I think you live on my floor, and then he like looks and immediately moves out. Like it's like, yo, like he's really trying to keep it like super super down low, like and yeah, I thought the whole opening montage of film taking out the bad guys was really super cool, like just visually
montage.
Yeah, super awesome. And then, you know, Marvin Jones the third, or the second, Marvin Jones second or third. Anyway, playing Tombstone. That was really cool too. I would love to see more Tombstone as well in these movies.
I was kind of disappointed that it was only for that one scene. I was kind of hoping to see maybe for kind of like a Scorpion role, right, where Scorpion's in maybe like 4 or 5 scenes. I was hoping for a little more Tombstone because I do like that character.
Yeah, no, I agree. It probably would have gotten a little a little stuff that they just like forced them in there. But I would like to see that storyline definitely, proceeds. I like the grounded stuff. I know people were saying, "Oh, is this really grounded?" Because that's the Hulk. Like, nah, this felt like a pretty relatively grounded movie in terms of like what, at least this time, Holland Spider-Man's gone through, like fighting the elements with Mysterio and DC and Washington DC, and then Homecoming and multiverse stuff. Like, this was not like a crazy over the top Spider-Man movie. It was pretty down to earth, and I like that. I want to see more of that.
I agree with that, and I think the final shots throughout the credits also showed that. The fact that it was just random, like, pretty shots of New York.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of an interesting choice. Yeah.
Right, versus the first John Watts trilogy were all those animated sequences in the credits. So it's like we literally go from it was like animation, and then it was also like fun, either like pop music or like hip hop songs. This one was like a nice, chill, mellow look at life in New York, what Spider-Man's protecting, on a great Steve Lacy song from Compton. Steve Lacy from Compton, even though he spoiled the dang movie on the premiere. Like, come on, man, it was only 2 days. He could have held it close. But nah, shout out to Steve Lacy. That was a great song and great pick on that one.
Speaking of needle drops, the random Bad Bunny L needle drop. I don't know if you
Yeah,
caught that.
yeah, with the, when he was like,
played.
yeah, when he
I
started
was
flying
like-
with the birds.
Yeah, I was like, okay, bro, this is the first ever, I think, I want to say, like, Bad Bunny reggaeton needle drop I've ever heard. Like, in any movie, bro. So that was kind of significant for me.
Hey, man, he cooking. Nah, I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
bro.
nah, that
El
was.
Muerto's back, bro. He's back. El Muerto.
Hey, look, he back. He getting that check from Disney and he was in Pixar. He was in Toy Story 5 as well. So like,
But Sony was
Bad
gonna give
Bunny.
him his own movie, bro. You remember that? Inside the
that's
Spider-Man universe.
right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
He was gonna play a
that would've been
luchador,
cool.
superpower luchador named El Muerto.
Right. Well, that was the thing. I gotta tell you some stories behind
Off camera.
Right, off camera. But they were throwing out movies like that Spike Lee Spider-Man movie for a second too. And I think like during that era, I think they had some leadership thing at Sony, and they were just literally just trying to make any Spider-Man movie at any point. Like at that point, they were literally taking any Spider-Man pitch. So I think like, I don't even know how real it actually was or not, but like salute to them for even like showing up for that, and getting Bad Bunny that stuff. That was funny.
It is funny, yeah. Any other final thoughts, RB3?
Now I can think of off the top of my head. The 3D was fire. The 3D, I definitely recommend seeing it in 3D. I saw it first time Screen X 2D. The second time was in Screen X and 3D. So really good on that. The 3D was fire. The action was fire. Some of the CGI was a little weird, but it was cool. And again, I either needed a longer ninja scene or one more action beat. I just needed one more action beat, and I would have been super, super straight. I did feel slightly gypped the first time I saw it. I was like, yo, come on, like, no more action. Like, this is it. We back to the talking thing. And, Thunderbolts had the talking thing, but they had the talking, and they had to give him a hug, but it was like a bunch of, like, stuff flying all over, and they had to, like, it was at least, like, kind of half of the action beat, This one, yeah, I wanted one more action beat in there for sure, especially when, and it's a little bit of a longer film too, 2 hours and 20 minutes. I felt the length a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. Both times I watched it, I was like, ooh, it's dragging. I know they gotta get to the emotional stuff and that real relationship stuff, but at the same time, it's like clock's ticking. It's been about 45, 50 minutes since the last action scene was going on. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but anyway, good film though. Good film.
Yeah, I agree with you. There's a couple scenes in there where I was like, all right, we're kind of losing a little bit of energy here. Maybe when they're in Frank Castle's castle. But when they're in his place, I think I was like, we're spending a little too much time here, in my opinion.
No, it's so like literally the scene when he's like fixing the inhibitor.
His goggles. Yeah,
and then like my girlfriend literally was like, I gotta pee, I gotta go. It was like perfect scene, go. And then she literally went to the bathroom and came back. The same scene was still going. Like they were still fixing the inhibitor. I'm like, yo, god dang, like that was a whole heat break. He was there and they're still here. Like, geez.
And I get the
like
point
that
of the
missing
scene,
thing,
but it just took a minute. It took a long time to get there.
Yeah, it's a few scenes like that that's like, come on, man, like y'all could have moved that along a little quicker, but it was good. It was good though. It was good. It was a good movie.
Yeah, overall solid. Obviously, I already said my gripes a million times, but I still really enjoy for the most part. Yeah.
You think it's one of the better Phase 4, Phase 5?
Yeah, 100%. Definitely one of the better ones
Yeah.
for sure. I would definitely put it up there. I think I like this more than Fantastic Four. Definitely more than Fantastic Four. So,
Well, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So
Better
just
than
that.
Fantastic Four. Better than that Captain America 4 or whatever.
Ooh, yeah, way better.
Yeah, and then definitely, it wasn't, to me, Thunderbolts was a little bit better,
Thunderbolts is
but
better. Yeah,
yeah,
agreed.
this is still like a very solid film, you know?
100%, 100%. And a lot of that is the cast. So shout out to Tom Holland and Zendaya and Jacob. I was going to say Jacob Elordi, but it's not.
Yeah, I kept saying, I feel like I said Jacob Elordi one time too. But Jacob Lattimore? No, that's the singer. CEO of Sex. Shout out to the CEO of Sex.
Shout out
for his
Jacob.
amazing performance.
Actually,
Yeah.
I actually really liked him in this movie. I thought he was dope.
Yeah, it was funny.
Yeah, shout out to him. So I think it worked really well. Either way, and Sadie Sink, she was great. Yeah.
Yeah, and him watching the social media stuff like over that was like really heartbreaking. I'm like, whoa, that's again they going real with it. They getting some real emotions with it. Like they wasn't holding back the emotions for sure.
Yeah, the scene where Ned is talking about all the highlights of his time in school. I was like, damn, that hurts, bro. That hurts. That was heavy. But either way, I think it's a really solid film. I definitely recommend it. I'll definitely be checking it out a few more times before I, digest it all. So, RB3, where can everyone find you, man?
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Director RB3.
And you can follow me at Squad Leader Ace. Make sure you guys tune into First Cut for more thoughts on our Spider-Man Brand New Day. We'll be making more videos on it. We'll be talking about on our live stream with Sabrina. So make sure to tune in for that for her thoughts as well. And you could follow us right here, subscribe right here, and also at First Cut TMO on social media. Either way, guys, for the First Cut crew, we're going to be peacing out. So peace, deuces.
Aye.